Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JV from JBM Sports Media coming at you guys with our World Series Game 1 reaction slash reviews. This game was hectic all around. JV, really quickly, after watching that game, first thoughts right here.
Uh, Listen, this Toronto offense is really something else. Like I don't know what else to say. I've been wrong this entire postseason about them. I really thought they did cool off. They're not cooling off. I had the Dodgers winning tonight. Obviously, that didn't happen. Uh, it looks like all they need is just a little bit to get them going, and then all of a sudden the top blows off. It's like the volcano erupts. They get a couple of guys on base. It's almost like, all right, it looks like their rhythm is a little better. It looks like their pitch selection is a little bit better. They look a lot more in tune as an offense. It's really crazy to see how they just score runs in bunches like this, bro.
Yeah, so final score was 11-4. Blue Jays taking game 1, now leading the series 1-0. And it was ecstatic when Addison Barger hit that grand slam, the crowd, the energy in Toronto. I mean, this is exactly what they're here for. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw the stat that the bullpen of the Dodgers didn't strike out any of the Blue Jays hitters. That is what I saw. And it's crazy because it really tells the tale, to be honest, of these Blue Jays
Yeah,
hitters, how much they fight in counts, how much they give it all they got, even if it's a 2-2 count, how they keep swinging off foul balls, foul ball after foul ball after foul ball. And it's just the way that they've been operating all year long. And I give them massive credit right here. I mean, look, I'll pull up the screenshot right here, how quickly the game turned
yeah,
south for the Dodgers.
yeah.
It was 2-2 in the sixth inning. All of a sudden, snap, a few minutes went by, 11-2. The Blue Jays had to a commanding lead. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, JV?
Listen, I'm giving them credit with their offense, but we have to give them credit with their pitching. Their pitching is doing it. I don't even want to say just enough anymore. They're really giving quality from both the starters and the bullpen. I mean, if you take a look at their bullpen only gave up 2 runs, and it was a shot to Otani when they were up 11-2. So your bullpen can kind of give you those little meatballs where they give up. They maybe throw a pitch over the middle, and someone hits a home run. It's kind of okay when you're up 9 runs, but then after that, nobody else gave up runs. So I mean, it's kind of crazy that we're talking about their offense. Yes, absolutely. They don't strike out. They have a lot of hitters that could work counts and really drive in a lot of runs. But their pitching has been keeping up. They're not winning these games 11-8, 11-9. They're winning these games 11-1, 11-2, 11-4. They're not giving up a lot of runs, and they're really pitching. To me, it should be highlighted a lot more than their offense because we knew what their offense was capable of. But this pitching, to me, is the reason why they got here. They're doing just enough pitching wise to be able to secure some of these wins they've been getting.
Yeah, and we'll pull it up right here. I'm pretty sure, yes, this is the Blue Jays pitching right here. Trey Savage had 5 strikeouts, did allow the 2 earned runs, but the bullpen held it down other than Fisher obviously giving up the 2-run shot to Otani. They held it down by all means. Dominguez, good inning in the third. Look, regardless what you want to say about the Blue Jays, like their offense obviously has been great this postseason. Their pitching has held their own, like JB said. It's held their own and beyond and beyond ways that I didn't expect. I'll be honest. I didn't expect their pitching slash bullpen to hold their own in these ways. But guess what? They're proving a lot of people wrong. Trey Savage, for him to go literally make his first start in the major leagues, what was it, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and now
Yeah,
starting game 1 of the World Series, I think that is absolutely tremendous. He held his own today as well. Did allow the 2 earned runs, but could have been way worse. He had a bases loaded jam. And, he could have got himself in a very, very bad situation. But look, he held his own, and guess what? I'll keep saying it. His offense came through for him. His offense came
yeah,
through for him.
absolutely. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but is this your Savage's third start in the postseason?
I believe so. He had one against the Yankees. Obviously, that was phenomenal.
And
He
then
had,
in Seattle.
yeah, Seattle. Yeah, I think it
So,
is.
so he's almost had as many starts in the postseason that he's had in actually the regular season. I think he had 4 starts in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. He'll probably get one more start if this
Yeah,
series does go past 4 games. He'll probably have to go again. And let me tell you something: for a kid, literally a kid who just came up, like you said a couple of weeks ago, to get you through 4 innings, strike out 5. Yeah, the 3 walks, against the Dodgers that could hurt you, but it didn't because he only gave up 2 runs, which means he got out of a couple of jams. That's all you could really ask for. You
yep.
cannot get mad at this kid for going 4, if there's any baseball fans out there that are saying, "Oh, they didn't get length out of your Savage," they didn't need length. It's you have to get through each inning in the World Series. It's not about pushing your starters to 6 or 7. Let them give what they could give, honestly.
Yeah.
And he gave enough, and the bullpen, like you said, was able to hold it down, and their offense clicked, and that's really what happened in Game 1.
Yeah, and now let's turn it over. Look at the Dodgers pitching, where I feel like they did exactly what the funny enough the opposite of what the Brewers did, especially when it comes to Snell. So they put Snell right off the jump. I think his first inning he threw 29 pitches. So right off the bat, they made Snell work for it. 5 earned runs for Snell was the total tally at the end of his run today. 8 hits. Look, they were putting Snell in counts where he was working. And look, yes, I was right. Look at their bullpen. 0 strikeouts between their bullpen right here. Sheehan didn't look good. Banda, he's overrated. The way that Dodgers fans hype up this guy because he looks good. Look, he might look good as a person, as a player. He's been, excuse me, I'll say it. He's been ass all year. He's been ass. Yeah, so we got to keep it a buck right here. This is what people have been saying though. If you get to a guy like Snell and you get to the bullpen, it's all open. It's all open, and you could create damage. You could create your havoc right here, and it happened today. It really did.
Yeah, and I said this, Brew, about the Phillies. I thought the Phillies would really be able to get to their maybe go through 5 innings of their starters, but then the last 3 or 4 innings, I thought the Phillies would have a good chance of beating that bullpen, and they just didn't. But right now, with the way Toronto has been hitting all year, we've just said this before, they don't strike out. When you don't strike out, you're putting bat to ball, and it's going to put pressure on your defense and put pressure on your pitchers to make perfect pitches, not better pitches, perfect pitches, because it starts getting in their head. So I like I said, Game 1, I got to give a tip of my hat to this Toronto Blue Jays team. I really do.
Yeah, and now looking at it, the matchup tomorrow is going to be Gausman versus Yamamoto, and I think that's going to be very good. I think if the Blue Jays manage to go up 2-0, and I'll put back the graphic real quick just so we
Oh
can.
man, I can't even think about that like in my head right now. If they go up 2-0,
If they go up 2-0, going back to LA, it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of that pitching staff. Obviously, we found out before this series started more so about the bullpen for the Dodgers. Vesia is going to be out. We don't know if it's going to be for the whole World Series. It didn't say, but I'm assuming it's going to be for a good amount of time. He's going through a personal family matter, I believe it said, with
yes,
his wife. So prayers out to them. Hopefully everything's good. But that's a big blow for that's a big blow for the Dodgers bullpen not having that lefty there.
yeah.
So, I mean, look,
And Tanner Scott, I think is he not even on the roster?
I actually that's a phenomenal question
because there was a report that if Vesia couldn't make it, that they were considering putting Tanner Scott. Could you imagine $72 million? You're considering maybe putting him on the roster. What a disaster, man! I mean,
what a disaster.
Realistically, it's a disaster for that bullpen. They really needed some quality outings from Scott, and the fact that he can't provide that is crazy. And now they could have used it more than ever with the way the bullpen looks right now.
I think this is amazing for Toronto. Obviously, Game 2 is tomorrow. I'm excited for that because it's going to put a lot of pressure. I think it would go to the Dodgers. Look, your ace went out there. He didn't look good. He looked the quite opposite as he did against the Brewers in the NLCS. And credit to the Blue Jays bats for pushing him to very rough situations in counts. Look, I'll say this right now. Gausman versus Yamamoto, there's a lot at stake with that matchup right there. I know it's 1-4, but if Toronto could successfully defend home field in this series, man, we have ourselves a situation where the Dodgers, for the first time in this postseason, are going to have their backs against the wall.
Yeah, if they're looking at a 2-0 deficit, that's it's kind of heavy to be talking about. I personally don't know if that would happen. I do think the Dodgers have the ability to split this series, which, let me tell you something, Toronto already won, in my eyes, just by splitting the first 2 games. You couldn't go to LA down 0-2.
Absolutely not.
That's a complete no-no. I don't care how good Toronto's offense has been. I don't care how good their pitching has held up. You can't look at anybody in the eye, especially the Dodgers, down 0-2, and say you have a chance. Look at what happened to the Brewers. They were down 0-2 at one point, and they looked completely out of it. That would happen to this team as well. But the fact that they already stole Game 1 is a huge, huge thing right now for this Toronto team. And I think LA already feels a little bit like their backs are against the wall. But this team is so good that I really do feel that they can come out tomorrow and just turn it all around and go back to LA for game 3 tied at a game apiece.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with you, and I think they for sure could get to Gausman. I mean, Gausman has looked pretty good in general in the postseason so far. Hasn't really had a lot of damage go against them. Yamamoto, he had that one bad start against Philly, but against the Brewers, he looked amazing. He threw a complete game. Is it one of those things just like Snell? He had a great game against the Brewers. Is he due for a bad one here against the Blue Jays? Could be. This is the World Series we're talking about here. At this point, you kind of take it inning by inning. And I feel like what happened to Snell today, it's a big fact of how those Blue Jays bats keep playing and how consistently they've been all year round. So that's what I love to see.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, I know Snell was injured for most of the year, and he came back strong. When he did come back, but that was a big loss for them tonight. I really do think this was a tone setter. Honestly, this game 1 here, and like I said, the Dodgers really pride themselves on their starting pitching, considering their bullpen was the weaker of their 2 pitching units, and for their starters to go down like that is not helpful because their bullpen is usually the other way around. It's not usually producing. So the fact their starting pitching caught a little bit on the chin, it's a little alarming. It just shows you how good this Toronto offense could be.
Yeah, and I think just the way that game 2 could go out tomorrow and be played, like I'm excited to watch it in general because it's going to be one of those things. Saturday night World Series, great vibe to it. Look, I'm excited for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a great game. Hopefully it's a little bit closer, a little bit more well contested because like I said, I mean, I'll pull up the screenshot one more time right here. Look, the Dodgers really fumbled it very quickly in that 6th inning. Sheehan looked horrible. Emmett Sheehan looked horrible. Banda, he's becoming a jobber. He's on jobber status. He's been on jobber status for quite some time. Yeah, the Dodgers have to respond. They have to respond big time. They can't go, in my opinion, they could if they, I mean, I know it's the Dodgers, but they can't really go down 2-0 to LA, in my opinion.
No, I wouldn't feel comfortable with them going down 2-0 either. I know we had just said if Toronto went down 0-2 going back to LA, that would be, a real big hardship for them. But I'm not gonna say that wouldn't be a hardship for the Dodgers either. If they're down 0-2, bro, I mean, that's a tough hill to climb. And now we're talking about, is their bullpen taxed? Are they picking up more? Are they picking up a little more innings in the first 2 games? We'll see how tomorrow plays out with their bullpen and how far Yamamoto could go. But to me, if Yamamoto doesn't get past the 6th, that's a problem.
That's a problem. It's a big problem because then you're going to have to rely on Glasnow to go a little bit more. You know how Glasnow is. He's not really a guy that'll push it to 7 innings. Ohtani.
And do you bring a guy like Kershaw in, bro?
Yeah, you know what? That's a thing that I've seen a lot of people talking about on social media. Could we get one more Kershaw versus Max Scherzer start in here? Maybe. I would really like that, but I think Max Scherzer probably would start either game 3 or game 4 for the Blue Jays. I would really like that. I would really like that if Kershaw and Scherzer could both get on the mound one more time. I think for Kershaw, obviously, it's going to be one of those things where how are they going to use him out the bullpen or, maybe 3 innings as a start, a little opener-ish. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. The Dodgers, I mean, we'll see how they respond tomorrow. It's going to be big, but what a statement by the Blue Jays opening game 1 like this.
Absolutely. And they blew the roof off the place. I mean, like I said, they kept it close. They were down 2-0. 2-0 is not an insurmountable lead, to have to overcome. And like I said, their pitching did enough to keep them close, and they were able to get a couple guys on base. And then me and you, before we recorded, were like, up 2-1, 2-2. They hit a 2-run homer, and then all of a sudden, that 2-run homer from Varsho was just like I said, it was the volcano exploded. And the Dodgers haven't seen that in a while. They haven't seen them trail by 9 runs at one point in a very long time. Never mind in a playoff game.
Yeah. Real quick before we wrap it up, as always, let me know in the comments. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about obviously your game 1 reaction to this World Series matchup and your World Series game 2 prediction. Let us know in the comments with Gausman and Yamamoto on the mound. Bo Bichette did come back today. I think he had 2 hits, I believe. 2 hits.
Yes.
Yes. He looked pretty good. I mean, he was hitting 313 when he was playing. Man, that guy with the contact, on the bet. Like, he's not gonna miss a step, bro. He's one that I didn't feel like he'll miss a step.
And this guy that's on our screen, Addison Barger, coming off the bench,
Pinch hit.
not even starting in the game, and hits a grand slam and goes. I think he went 2 for 2 in his 2 at bats. So
Yep, it's the first ever pinch hit grand slam in World Series history. There you
and
go.
he homered off a lefty, correct? I believe it
Yeah,
was
he homered off of Bonda. I think it was Bonda.
It
Yeah.
was Bonda because Bonda gave the 3 extra runs. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. I mean, if you're going to start homering off of lefties when they're pitching to you because you're a lefty and they think they're going to get you out and you're homering, those are key moments that we're going to talk about later in this series. Hey, they tried to pitch to Barger because he was left-handed. They had the lefty-lefty matchup, and he
hit a grand slam.
And he hit a nuke to right field. So that's something that we'll talk about in a couple of days, being a key part to why maybe the Blue Jays win this whole thing, if possible.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. Like I said, in the comments, let us know your game 2 prediction. Real quick, I'll throw it to JB before we wrap it up. What's your game 2 prediction? Do you think the Dodgers even it out?
Yes, I'm going to say the Dodgers, they wake up a little bit and say, hey, let's get back to our brand of baseball. I think Yamamoto is a cool, calm, and collected individual, and I think he will pitch good enough. He may not go 7 and pitch, spectacular, but I think he'll get through 6 at least, give them a little bit of leeway, and I think they score some runs early, and I think they get back on track for game 2, and they head back to LA with a split.
I respect that. And honestly, I could see that happening 100%. I could see the Dodgers going away with the split back to LA. I actually think it's going to be a very close game. I do think the Blue Jays will take a win tomorrow and, 2-0 series lead. I don't know. I trust Gausman in a situation like this. I think Yamamoto, after his complete game, he's kind of due for not a shaky start, but more so,
I agree with that. Yeah,
he's
a little bit
going to
more
get
of a
in some
mediocre
trouble.
start.
Yeah, he's going to get in some trouble, and I think it'll be a close contested game. I think it's going to be 5-3 Blue Jays. Blue Jays win 5-3, mainly because they get to that bullpen when it's time again, and that's going to be.
I'm interested to see how Toronto attacks Yamamoto and how Yamamoto attacks Toronto as well, because like I said, they don't strike out. Yamamoto obviously has the ability to strike out 8 or 9 on any given night, and I'm just curious to see how they're going to go about that. It's going to be really fun tomorrow night.
Yep. And as always, guys, make sure you guys follow and subscribe to JBM. We're on TikTok as well, JBM Sports Media on TikTok and Instagram. Follow, subscribe here on YouTube. Make sure you guys like it. We'll catch you guys on